Welcome to the CAD Office Training Series for F.Connect for OpenBridge Modeler. My name is Steve Tischer, and I'm a structural engineer with Atkins Realis. In this video, we'll be covering exercise 5.2 from the Bridge Design 3D Modeling and Plans course guide. This exercise demonstrates how to create an end bend template. Let's get started. This exercise will demonstrate how to quickly create an end bend, otherwise known as an abutment, template using the out-of-the-box OBM templates. The OBM end bend templates will work fine for end bends with no skew, but they have limitations if they are on a skew. Mainly, the cap and the back wall cannot model the breakbacks, otherwise known as the kinks in the corners or at the ends to accommodate the skew. Even if the end bend is on a skew, the out-of-the-box templates can still be used for preliminary design to check horizontal clearances or other things you need to check. However, if you want to model the true end bent geometry on a skew, you will need to use the solids modification tools in the modeling workflow or use the F-dot parametric cell end bent template shown later in the guide. All right, so we're going to begin with that same file, the BO1 MODLBRTRO1 5.1 through 5.4 begin here. So we'll open up the abutments template library by navigating to the utilities. But first we need to get into the OpenBridge Modeler workflow. That's always the first thing we want to make sure we're in. And we'll go to utilities and then abutments. And then once this opens up, we can make this window a little bit bigger to kind of help us make it easier to see what the template's going to be updated to. And then we're going to go to the pile cap, expand that one, expand default, and we'll just select one that kind of looks the closest to what we want to use. And this 2-lane 27-foot's a good one here. So we can go ahead and click on copy. And then for the name of this one, we'll just give it something simple for this training here. So we'll do underbar tr-invent and click OK. Now we go and select that template we just created there and click on edit. And then notice once you hit edit, the way the display mode is currently set up here, it'll highlight the item that we're editing. Now, the abutment's pretty simple, right? We just have the cap that's got the back wall associated with it here too, so that's why that's being highlighted here. But if you want to focus on just that one template piece, then you click on this display mode here, and it'll actually isolate the element that you're on right now. And it'll give you the dimensions of the variables over here. So I kind of zoom in here, I can see BWW, that's back wall width, that's 16 inches here. It's kind of hard to see in this isometric view here, but I can kind of read it backwards here. If I zoom in on the ends here, we got PCD, pile cap depth, that's this one right here, and BWD, back wall depth. So that's how you can kind of know what these variables over here are controlling is by clicking on that display mode. So I'll turn that back off for now, and we're going to go ahead and make sure that the support line is set to front face the back wall. That's how we set the end bends abutments here in Florida. Next thing we'll do is go to make sure we're on the cap tab again, and we're going to change the length to 47 feet 8 inches. So to get 47 foot 8 inches, you can just do 47.8. The dot is kind of the same thing as the colon in the microstation OBM world, so it's kind of a quick shortcut to get into inches. For depth, we'll go to 30 inches. Width, we'll do 42 inches. Back wall depth, 89 inches. And back wall width, 12 inches. Now, we don't have any kind of horizontal offset of the back wall to the end of the cap. Or a corbel or anything like that, but those are options that we could add into this template here. All right, so once we click on that cheek wall tab here, we go and click the Add Cheek Wall button, and the first one we'll do is the left one here. The height we'll do as 89 inches. Width we'll do as 30. And no width offset or length offset, but for the bottom length and top length, we'll choose a 9 7/16, so you can just do a 9 space 7 divided by 16, and then same thing for that bottom length there. And then I'm going to add another cheek wall. We're going to change the orientation of this one to right, so we're working on the right cheek wall now. And you kind of notice when you make the copy or when you add cheek wall again, it'll automatically inherit the properties of the first one you did, which is pretty nice. So the width for this one, we'll choose 63 inches and 9/16. And we'll see why we have kind of that strange length or width of the cheek wall here that goes past the end of the cap. We'll see that later on why we have that. Then we'll change the bottom length and top length. We'll do 12 and 9/16. Just 12 space 9 divided by 16. And that looks pretty good. So go next over to the piles. And we'll change some of these inputs here first before we go to the pile layout. So embedment length, 12 inches is standard here for us for a pin connection. Width, we're either going to be 24-inch pre-stressed concrete piles, so we'll change the width and the depth of this to 24 because this is a rectangular pile shape, so it knows that it's the rectangular dimensions inputs here. Pile length, we'll change this to 110 feet. And then now we can go ahead and change the pile layout or the pattern layout here. So once we click on that, that'll take a second for that dialog to pop up here. And there it is now. So for this one, the top and bottom margin we can leave the same because that's going to be the margin from the edge of the front face or back face of the abutment or end vents to the center line of the pile. Now we only have one row pile here, so these don't really make any difference. You can just leave those the way they are, given the width of this end vent cap here. But the left and right margin, we'll go ahead and change those. So left margin, we'll put 36 inches in there for that. And we'll put 60 inches in for the one on the right. And 5 pile is correct. So now we can just click on generate piles. And that updates our pile layout here. Now you can think of like these margins as kind of like the distance from the faces of the cap and plan view here to the center line of the pile. So those all look good. Now, note you can change the pile positions manually if you want to. So this can kind of get you the pile positions where you need them to be. And then if you wanted to override some of these, you could check this box here and change, lengths or top or left distances, and even delete a pile if you wanted to. Like, let's say this was a big footing and you wanted to optimize and delete a pile in the center. You could actually select one of these in the middle here and delete those. But what we have here is perfect, so we're going to go ahead and leave that the way it is. And click on OK. And everything looks good. And we'll go and click on OK again. And that's it for this. And now this abutment can be used to be placed in the OBM model.